Hey, I always loved performing and I wanted to be a professional musician, right? I really, really wanted to be on the stage singing and playing guitar to people, right? Like a lot of kids do. But I never had the patience to practice hard enough. So, I'd learn a few songs, but I never really did it really, really well. Okay, that's just me. And that gets back to what I was talking to in my last video. I was talking to you about how in the last movie I was saying that, that lack of perfectionism is a real problem, and how that lack of perfectionism fits in the NPA theory as outlined by Karen Horney, who was a 20th century physician, talking about NPD, the personality disorder. Right, so the NPA is the personality type. It has to do with narcissism. So I'll explain it a little bit. I've made some notes because it's really important that we get through this. I wanted to focus today on the lack of perfection and the aggression. I want to focus that a little bit more. I want to see if we can get through and get a level of understanding about it. What is it all about? Well, that lack of perfectionism for me is something that I think it shows up in my music. I've got this talent, I've got this desire, I've got time. I live in a time on the planet where I've got time and I've got a roof over my head and I've got income and I've got time to be able to learn to play music if I want to, if I choose to. I can do that, right? But I haven't, because I've got that lack of perfectionism in my personality type, and because I've got that aggression as well. And I've also got the narcissism. So I think that I've got a high esteem of myself, of my ego, and I've also got this lack of perfection. So I don't see things through. I don't actually, somebody like Liberace had a lot of musical talent, but he exploited that until he was a virtuoso. So he had a high level of perfectionism. So he was somebody that had the narcissism, had high levels of perfection, and had low levels of aggression. So his narcissism wasn't a problem because it didn't contain the lack of perfectionism and the high aggression. Okay, so for me, I'm someone different, right? Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I've explained it a few times. I'll keep explaining it because I think it's really important. One of the things a teacher said to me once when I was learning to play music, he said, okay, Steve, an amateur will learn a song until he gets it right, but a professional will learn a song until he never gets it wrong. And that level of commitment is really important, because he was talking about something, my teacher was talking about something. He was saying, have a high level of perfectionism when it comes to music, because it will help you in other areas of your life. Now I said, oh yeah, look, I'm pretty good. I'm just going to learn some chords, play some songs. So I learned something from that later in life when it showed up. Learning about narcissism, it showed up that I had low levels of perfectionism, right? A lack of perfectionism. Now, the problem with that is that I tend to blame other people when things don't go as well as I hoped. So with music, that's one thing, if I don't play a song really well, it's not a really big problem, huh? But if I'm having to perform a task, something that's important to my job or to my family, and I don't do a good job of it, and somebody criticizes me for not having that high level of perfectionism in the task, well, then I tend to blame other people, right? And that's the aggression and the lack of perfectionism. But it's also something about me not getting on stage as well, because I just blame other people. Oh, well, look, I didn't get on stage, because, my mum and dad broke up, and then they didn't really buy me a guitar soon enough, and, they weren't really interested in music, so they didn't really encourage me, and, blaming other people. And then, I was a father when I was 23, so then I stopped playing guitar, and, all those things. There's always ways in which I can blame other people, right? But there's only one reason why I never got on stage playing music, and that was because I didn't put enough time and energy into it, right? Now, I don't mind that I never made it as a musician, because I've decided to work on being a better husband and a father instead, and wanted to learn a trade and have an income for my family and work with my family. But I'm still working on being more patient, because I know that will help me as well as everyone else around me. because, you know, I have to be more patient and I have to be better at applying myself. So even though the music isn't ever really going to happen for me getting on stage, that's no big deal, but I do want to improve my perfectionism. Look, it's easy to be lazy, right, I've found, and blame the lack of perfection on other people, and that's really where I've gone wrong, big time. It's too easy, actually. If you have a lack of perfectionism, the tendency is to blame other people and say, well, it was this person's fault, they didn't give me enough time, da-da-da. So, look, guilty as charged, okay? But that's something that I've just seen in myself that can help me overcome the other problems associated with my NPA personality type. One of the other things about narcissism and the lack of perfection combined is that it's really easy to charm other people, that I've done the right thing. It's like, hey, because of my charm, I can convince people that I've done a good job of something, because I can make it sound like it's been done really well, and I can just pretend that I've done a good job about something. I can confabulate. So that narcissism isn't really a problem, but that charm that goes with it can cover for my serious inadequacies. So I'm working on that. But I dare you to work on it too, because I know that there's a lot of guys in my shoes. And a lot of guys and girls have been asking me to talk about this for a long time. And you know what? Because of my lack of perfectionism and my impatience, I haven't done something like this for you. In 10 years, Kim and I have been writing about narcissism and the problems around it, but I haven't been able to get off my backside and do something like this because I haven't got the patience or the application. But I'm trying, I'm getting over it, right? I'm looking at it. So check out my post. Now, if you can't see it, look below, look in the comments, look underneath in the description, wherever you're seeing this video. The post is about the selfish reasons to look at your own narcissism. And if you're still confused about what that really means, check out Karen Horney's MPA theory. There's a lot of pages online about it. That's Karen Horney, that's Horney. And her theories on NPA and the theory of NPA as pertaining to narcissistic personality disorder is really powerful. But also check out Kim's site, my site. We've got lots of fantastic stuff there for you to look at, and we really think we can help you. So, okay, now back to me working on this song. It's a really good song. I reckon I can get it right. And I'll see you in the next video.